Welcome back to 1010's Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Rubio, and I am in the Kanga Motorsport Studio by myself again. But I also have Adam Nielsen on Zoom, and if you can read, you'll know that we have Ben Solem. And I'm not even going to give you an introduction. I'm just going to say, this is Ben Solem. You're part of the show. Everyone can figure it out later.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on the show, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We've been meaning to have you on for a long time. You've been, I don't know if you've been listening the whole time. We've been aware of you because of drifting since we started this. So we've been talking about having you on for forever. And then last year you bailed me out when I blew up my power steering line, and you got that here in like 2 days. So between being a super rad guy and just saving my ass, I appreciate it. So now we have to have you on the show.
Hey, I mean, someone's got to try to be a little bit legit out there, right? So, I mean, I got about 1 million stickers from you, and I got the, oh God, what was it called?
Rooster Booster.
What? No, the barley taster. What was it called? The hoppy refresher.
That's right.
That thing was the grossest damn thing I've ever drank in my
Thank you
whole
so
life.
much. And this is coming from a beer drinker. See, Ron, that shit's nasty.
Oh yeah, I drink beer all the time, and it was the grossest thing. I mean, it probably would have helped if it was cold.
Oh, you can't drink it warm.
And I was like, let's go, and it was disgusting. I couldn't do anything with it. I poured it out.
No, you had to drink. It's delicious. It's good.
So speaking of weird things to drink now, I've come into this newfound appreciation for draft root beers, like fancy ones.
Yeah,
and
we get
this
that.
This is 1919 root beer from a pony keg that I have in my fucking fridge. And it's the greatest.
There's actually a bar in town that they got 54 taps on their bar rail.
Yes.
The 1919 or 1909 or whatever it is. That's one of the handles that they got.
Oh, that's so cool.
You can get
that
a
would be
growler
great.
of that. If you want a whole growler, they'll sell you a growler of it.
I have a pony keg. It's the greatest. So root beer is probably not what I should be drinking when I'm recording a podcast. It's fine.
Good enough.
It's getting a little flat because I can't drink it fast enough. They said you're supposed to drink it in 8 hours. It's been in my fridge for 2 days.
But who's going to drink that much soda in 2
Not by yourself. Are you kidding me?
And who has friends? It's COVID. You can't have friends now.
I opened it Sunday night. Maybe Monday night. I don't remember what night I opened it.
Today is Wednesday.
But all I remember is that I drank so much of it that I went to bed and I had a stomach ache. And I was just like, my kid was really like giving me shit. And I was like, Logan, can we please just... my stomach hurts and I need to go to bed. And Katie's like, your stomach hurts? Is like, I drank way too much root beer. So
you're like a child that never grew up.
Oh, it was the best. It's so good, dude. You're missing out. You don't even know. I love it so much.
No, I'll drink it. I mean, I'm all about craft root beer and craft beers and basically craft anything. I'm all for it.
It really, you take a sip, it really just brings in on the palate, you know? It just kind of welcomes you in. It takes you right at the doorstep, and it just opens the door. It just says, "Hello, I'm here," and it brings you in.
It's so good.
It's great.
I love cream sodas. Birch beers are probably my favorite. Red birch beers. Those are kind of hard to find, but they're super good.
I've never heard of those before.
Or
is that just an Iowa thing, or
I don't know. Who do I buy it from? When you go to like I don't know, we call them Tysons around here or Baumgars. They'll have like these liters of just a bunch of random root beers and stuff like that. I can't remember what the name is.
No, because they have an orange cream soda too.
Yeah, and then when you go to the grocery store, there's a company. I can't remember what they're called, but they sell like a sarsaparilla and a red birch beer. I don't know. If you look in the soda aisle, it's there. You get them like 4-packs of glass
Isn't that
bottles.
the Sioux City one? The Sioux City sarsaparilla?
the Sioux City with the little cowboy on it?
Yeah. You can get a red birch.
Yeah.
You can get a red birch beer from them. It's super good. I love it.
So I don't want to take this over, boys. We're already on the topic of stores here. And I saw something the other day. It was on Luke Stilley's Facebook, and it fired me up. And I'm not from Iowa. but it fired me up. Okay.
Oh, I saw this.
I
too.
saw this. I've never been so. I thought Luke was cool. I thought that he was like a person I wanted to be friends with, and I've completely changed my mind.
I hope we are all on the same page here.
I think we are.
If everyone wants to comment on the group on this one, because I'll block every one of you if you're wrong, and I get to choose if you're wrong. But the Quick Trip versus Casey's argument.
I didn't realize this was an argument.
It's not an argument.
I didn't think so either.
Trip pizza sucks.
All right, so yeah, so Luke posted I don't know if it was like it said it in a like aggressive way, like fight me, like obviously a joke.
Yeah.
But he goes, Quick Trip pizza is better than Casey's.
Specifically breakfast pizza.
Whoa! Yeah. I didn't realize. I must have read right over that.
He went straight to the jugular. Breakfast pizza. Oh yeah.
I've never been so upset over something so insignificant.
So he's wrong.
He's so wrong, dude.
Like
so wrong.
Let's put it this way. Jess will go out of her way for a Quick Trip taquito, or tornado, or whatever the hell they're called, and I don't blame her for this. She won't even take a bite of their pizza.
No, the pizza sucks.
She came home from work last weekend after working a 12-hour shift at the hospital, and immediately goes, "I want Casey's pizza," and we left at 7 a.m. to go get Casey's breakfast pizza. We drove 10 miles, got pizza, drove 10 miles back, and that's how we started our day. You don't do that for Quick Trip.
No. The sugar cookies, the special K bars.
The special K bars, yes.
A maybe at that. If you're in the neighborhood, maybe. But the breakfast pizza, not a chance. No thanks.
I used to go there for their Snapple Apple because that was the only place I had it. But now you can get it in 2-liter bottles at Hy-Vee. It's everywhere now.
They make it. It's. I'm kind of upset about the fact that it's now in plastic bottles.
Yeah, isn't that bullshit? You can't even bring it on the curb anymore.
I don't know why that upsets me so
that's
much.
Why.
But I've never done that, to be completely honest with you. I guess maybe I'm missing out on that experience. But I don't know why it upsets me so much, but it does.
No, it's everything's better in a glass bottle.
Except for the barley refresher or hoppy refresher.
Well,
it's trash. That could have came in a bag. It still would have been bad. I don't care.
I think it's good.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I'm so disappointed.
It's so bad, Robbie.
No, it's not so bad. You would rather.
I'm expected not to like it because I don't know how people drink beer because that shit's nasty too. But
beer
Ben is a beer drinker. Maybe he's not in on the hoppy refresher.
No, and the biggest, I think the biggest kick in the dick about the hoppy refresher is even if you drink a gross beer, you still get a buzz from it. You still get something. I drank 3/4 of that hoppy refresher, and all I got was a stomach ache and honestly just a head full of regret.
No. You got refreshed and hydrated.
I got woke to what the fuck. This is gross.
All right. Well, this has been a nice show. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll catch you guys next week.
Come on now.
Oh man. So this food and drink tangent brought to you by Kenny Motorsports. How about that? KennyMotorsports.com. I was texting him today. He's doing well, which is good because we had talked about him a couple times on the show, and then he didn't message me because I'm kind of baiting him with these things. So like anytime I talk about somebody on the show, I expect them to text me and be like, "Hey, dickhead, right. I'm alive." But he didn't do that for like 3 weeks. So he texted me today, said everything's cool. So he didn't burn in a fire. Him and his wife and baby, all good. But he'll get back to more content soon, he says. Or maybe I put that words in his mouth. Either way.
My kid's not happy right now, so I'm sorry if you guys can hear that.
Is he banging on the door?
Yeah, he's banging on the door yelling, "Daddy, I want you."
Phrasing!
Same thing.
I just texted her. I was like, "Get out of bed and come get him." She's laying in bed watching, because he's supposed to be laying in bed. So, anyway, before we dive into talking with Ben here, I have a surprise for Robbie that I think Ben has watched enough or has listened to enough shows that he'll appreciate this. and this is a big deal for me.
Oh God.
Okay, are you ready for this, Robbie?
No.
Are you ready for this?
Yes. Oh my God! Oh my God!
I got glasses.
Yes, you did.
I finally got glasses.
Dang, brother, those some fresh windshields.
So I'm still trying to get used to them a little bit. Today I wore them all day, which was a pretty big deal. But first of all, I didn't realize how fucking blind I am.
Dude, you are so blind.
I knew it wasn't good. That's fine and dandy and whatever. I knew it wasn't good. But like, oh, man.
I remember when I finally pulled the trigger and I was like driving and I couldn't read the street signs well. That was what it took for me to pull the trigger. You did that for 10 years.
So when I went and got the glasses, and you got to take the test and whatever, and the lady's like, you're not legal to drive. Sweet.
I believe that.
So it turns out I have an astigmatism on top of that, which I really don't know exactly what that means. But what I did learn is that not everybody sees the stars around lights.
Oh,
I thought that was normal.
Oh yeah, so like when you're looking at
when you're
like street lamps
on the
from
road at night, or looking at street lights or whatever, or even just like a regular light during the daytime, whatever.
Yep.
Like I see like rays of sunshine almost, I guess. Around any light source that I see. Apparently that's not normal.
My contacts kind of do that at night, and that bugs the shit out of me. So, honestly, the one thing that's going to determine whether or not I pull the trigger on LASIK is if it affects me doing night driving.
Oh,
like night racing.
Right.
So if I go out there and I'm ripping my contacts out of my eyes because I drive better, even blurry visioned a little bit would be better than the stars. So
right.
We'll see how that goes. And I haven't really noticed it at like grid life and stuff, but if it happens one time, I'm getting LASIK. I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, I get that. The other big thing I had to change was I watch my TV and play my games and all that stuff on like the highest, brightest setting. And with glasses, I had to turn everything down because it's too bright. So,
yeah, I believe that. I know going to contacts made my eyes much more sensitive to light.
Yeah. So,
but look how handsome you look.
I kind of don't like it.
That's because it's change, and you don't like change.
These are safety lenses, for the work I do or whatever.
Does your company
be safety lenses?
Does your company pay for them?
No, they didn't pay for them.
Damn it!
This shit. Are you fucking kidding me? They're 3 times as much as the ones that Katie got, just because of that.
Yeah,
but I guess lenses for astigmatism are not cheap either, apparently. So that was sweet. But when I was going through them, because they have like a separate case that they just keep on the floor that's for this that are specific to safety lenses.
Yep.
And like you have to pick from those instead of picking from the whole store. You got to pick from like these 20. And I was like, okay, well that's kind of bullshit, And I'm kind of flipping through there or whatever, and they're right there is the exact same pair my dad has, and I pull them out, and I was like. And, Katie's sitting right next to me. I was like, what about these? She's like, no.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. She goes, that is not okay.
As if you didn't look close enough to him already.
I thought it would have been really funny to do, but she was not into it. She was not okay with that. So
that would have been worth every penny.
I think it would have been super funny.
But I'm so proud of you. Look how good you look. Yeah.
I thought you would.
You're going to be so much happier driving. You're going to be less tired. You're just constantly squinting all the time. Now you don't have to do that.
I don't now, like, because I'm trying to get used to them. At first, when I was trying to get used to them, I would get headaches wearing them. Right.
Yep.
And then like I noticed there was a transition where when I'm not wearing them, then I get headaches. I'm like, fuck. I guess this is life now. Wearing these dumb things.
Yeah, your vision's got to be pretty bad if it's giving you headaches.
Well, it wasn't before. It only did it after I got glasses and realized how blind I actually was, and now it gives me headaches if I don't have them on.
Your brain has finally figured out, like, hey, the world is clear.
Well, yeah, dude, I still, like, every once in a while I'll be driving on the road and I'll, like, pull them down. I'll be like, put them back up, pull them down, holy shit.
Yeah, you do that. You'll do that for a long time.
Much different.
Yeah, I remember doing
that. It's crazy. So,
but that's awesome, man. Now you can see, and now if we ever do podcasts together in person, you can see what's on the screen. That's nice instead of just blurry.
I know I won't be squinting. Maybe I'll get things right more often because I won't mistake cars for something they're not.
Yeah,
so that'll be nice.
You'll be able to see details instead of just blobs. Your world is completely changed.
It really has.
Plus, for how handsome you look, you're gonna be hit on all the time. Just going into stores, I'm like, ooh, let's look at those glasses on that guy.
Pump the brakes on that one.
Well,
let's talk about Ben.
To quote what you just said, you better get used to hearing "Daddy, I want you." Thank you for the greatest soundbite we've had in a long time. I really appreciate that.
God damn it.
This is going to be a good show. I have a feeling.
Robbie, you have a problem. I'm just saying.
That's true. That is true.
But before we continue on from the eyesight talk, because I also wear glasses, and I got mine at a very young age. I think I was about 7 years old when I got my first pair. But I was in the McDonald's drive-thru the other day, right? And I pull up to the first window, and I was literally beside myself, I think would be the phrase to say. On the window, they have the audacity to put, if you need a Braille menu, please ask. Who needs this menu? And who is driving, and who is the asshole in the driver's seat not being like, you want chicken nuggets? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
why would
you post that?
That's
I don't know.
weird.
That's my eyesight. I saw that. That was my observation of the week. I don't know.
See, I've seen this, like, I'll see the signs and stuff, but I've never seen it on the drive-thru. You always joke about it, but that's
the drive-thru. Like,
what? You people up north, I don't know about you guys.
You can ride your snowmobile through the drive-thru too. They don't think that's bad. You just got to turn it off when you talk into the microphone.
That's probably true here too.
I gotta do that with the stupid fart can on my Cavalier anyway. So,
don't you have a silencer in that?
No, it fell out.
How?
I don't know, dude, but it fell out, and I'm so mad about it because it's louder. It's like obnoxiously louder now.
Is it louder than the Z?
No, let's not get carried away.
Oh, dang it! You know what I bet?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I like never go past half throttle anymore.
You know what happened? I bet Josh put it in there and then put the bolts in and didn't tighten the nut on purpose, knowing it'd fall out eventually. He's playing the long game.
Surprised.
He's playing the long game.
Surprised. I sent the group text with me and him and Dalton and Ryan, and I was like, dude, what the hell? And like, he didn't even respond to it. So I think he knew.
Oh yeah. This has been planned for months.
Yeah, probably.
He's just waiting for the episode.
You're not looking at it from the positive perspective. Now you have all this open room to put those little turbo whistle things inside there.
There's a stock muffler in the trunk, but I can't get the trunk open. So
what?
I don't know, dude. It used to open, now it doesn't.
Can't you just go in from the inside? And like
that's how I got. So remember when we went to Colorado and I had that cool suit system that was Don's for Dalton?
Yep.
I forgot I had it. And one day he texted me, he's like, dude, you ever gonna bring that back? I was like, oh shit, that's still in my car, right? And well, my trunk opened fine when I was at your house because I put it in my trunk.
Yeah, I remember.
And now I can't open my trunk.
Weird.
I went to get it out of the trunk to give it back to him, and the trunk wouldn't open. So I had to go through the back seat.
Well, I definitely need you to give that back to him because we need that for the endurance car next year.
Oh, it's been returned.
Okay, good.
It's been returned.
Yeah, I
don't think that I should be responsible for it any longer, though, because that took way longer than it should have.
Yeah, you've only had that like a month and a half.
Yeah, and I apologize for that, Don.
2 months.
So, but let's talk about Ben.
Yes. But yeah, before we do that, this rant about vision and food and other such things was presented by Factory Fabrication, factoryfabrication.com. We dropped the Porsche off yesterday to get the cage stuff done for the endurance team. So hopefully that's done here as soon as they are racing at Hallett this weekend, I think, or next weekend. Not important. But as soon as they're done with that, that's when the Porsche gets done, and then the Z's going to get done. So this fabrication shop is turning into a cage building shop, and I'm pretty happy about this. So
there never seems to be enough cage builders. So
yeah, there's a lot of people that can do it in their garage, or think they can, but having a skillful fabricator, having a skillful fabricator is few and far between, it seems. So we're pretty lucky to have Booney. So factoryfabrication.com if you need your own fabrication work done. So Ben, How the hell are you?
How am I?
Yeah. Where? Where? What are you doing?
Where? So I'm good. So I'm good. I'm from East Grand Forks, Minnesota. For no one, no one's got any idea where that is.
I always thought you were from Fargo.
Have you ever seen the movie Fargo? I'm an hour north of there, which means I'm
north of Fargo. I
Yeah,
thought
I'm
you couldn't. I didn't realize you could go north of Fargo and not be in Canada.
Yeah, I'm like 30 minutes away from the Canadian border. I could probably go pick up that generator for you, honestly.
Oh my God, I didn't know that you were that close. That's terrible.
Yeah, you drive just a little bit, and then your cell phone starts changing reception bars and stuff, and changing over to Bell.net or whatever is their thing in Canada. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, that's terrible. You're way up there, man. That's crazy. Now I see why you were talking about snow and whatnot.
Yeah. So it's supposed to snow on Saturday, is what they're saying here. They say we're supposed to get like 4 inches. But yeah, no, that's why when I met you guys down at Pacific Junction, down at God, what's the name of the track down there?
RPM.
Yeah, when I met you guys down there, everyone was making fun of my accent like crazy. Everyone's just walking up to me and they're just like, "Oh yeah,
don't you know?"
Oh. And I'm like, "Well, guys, I don't even really talk like that. I don't think." And then, and everyone's like, "Well, how far of a drive was it for you?" I was like, about 8.5 hours. They're like, "You drove 8.5 hours down here?" Like, yeah, I did in one shot. What was the problem? Like,
you gotta drive 8.5 hours to get anywhere up there, don't you?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I got to drive 2 hours to get a cup of coffee at a Casey's, so
it's worth it, though.
That's crazy.
Totally.
So, is Fargo where they do all the ND drift stuff?
Yep. That's where they do all the ND drift stuff. So it's about hour 10, hour 20 south of me.
Okay, that's not so bad.
That's attached to the drag strip, right?
Yep. So what happened was so ND Drift started out about 4 years ago, and it was me and 5 other guys. We started doing ND Drift just to try and get an event locally, since our closest track is 5 hours away, and that's Brainerd National Raceway. So we wanted to put on a local drift event. So we started ND Drift, and we had a event at the West Fargo Fairgrounds. Event went off awesome. Had a ton of people come out, news crew, like all this. We had like the best publicity like we totally could. We sold out in like 40 hours of posting an event for the first time ever. Everything went off really awesome. The next couple of years we fought with trying to find venues to get everything lined up. And then Matt Sandbeck and Ryan Keller, who run Sandbeck Race Development, they're our local dyno tuning guys and engine builders. They actually purchased the drag strip, built their own shop out there, and then went through and talked to all the drifting guys and went through and built a full-on cement course. It's the same course where they do a $10,000 drift shootout, which you can actually win your licensing to compete in Formula Drift Pro 2 if you win, if you place in the top 3 out of that contest. It's really cool how everything's kind of partnered up on it.
I did not realize that had grown that quickly.
Yeah, it's been absolutely insane. I've only drove the course a handful of times and borrowed cars. But yeah, the people that come for it, I mean, I know last year they had drivers from Texas, Florida, California coming out for that $10,000 shootout. It's amazing how it's growing. I know they have plans in the future to buy more of the farmland around it to eventually expand into a road course and then run like shifter carts and all kinds of different stuff out there. They're really trying to turn it into their own little motorplex, if you kind of will, or, compound. And it's super cool to see something that, even though it's an hour away, I would still consider in my backyard.
Yeah. You guys have like a weirdly strong car community up there, because there's a bunch of Grid Life regulars from like the Fargo area, and I know there's a bunch of other guys that I've met through other racing that live up in that area, and you seem to have a thriving drift community. I went up there and drag raced when I was little. Like, it seems to be for being so far away from like anything, it seems to be like a really cool place to be for cars. That's really a double-edged sword statement, because the car community here is awesome. Everyone, like you were saying, you have, there are time attack guys, there's drag racing guys, there's drifting guys. Another big thing that guys jump into is, obviously besides dirt track, because that seems to be everywhere in the Midwest, is they host the Ojibwe Forest Rally, which is out in Bemidji, Minnesota, which is about 3 hours to the east. So there's actually a lot of rally cars hiding in the shadows around here too. It's kind of a cool thing. That's wild.
Sorry, I was like, you finished that and you're like,
well, I had to get it all out before I opened that, right? I mean,
yeah, it seems that there's more rally than we ever realized. Somewhat like in Missouri seems to have a bunch, up by you seems to have a bunch. So it's just kind of crazy that we're so oblivious to it when I think it's actually more accessible than a lot of other things.
I would agree with that 100%. Me and a coworker were just talking about that the other day. Was even in Grand Forks, where I live, it's a town of about 50,000 people. There's probably 6 or 7 guys that have full on spec rally cars, between Celicas and stuff like that. And it wasn't until I went to a couple guys' shops, just dropping off parts or letting them borrow some tools and stuff, and just being like, okay, all right, we got things, cool. So let's jump back here. Where'd the car thing come in for you? Because that's always seems to be an interesting story to me. The car thing. So the car thing was kind of sparked by my brother originally. So, my brother and I have a 7-year age difference. So when he was a senior in high school, I was just a little rugrat. And the first car that he started modding was he had an Eagle Talon TSI, and it was just a dog. And I think like the only thing he ever did to it was like a different, boost controller. And then like eventually the manifold cracked. I remember our parents yelling at him about it and stuff, and he sold it. But he got me into cars. That kind of fast forward into when I was 15, I was working at the local pool. I bought a Honda Ruckus so I could ride to the pool and back. I sold my YZ 125 dirt bike and I bought a Ruckus. And the Ruckus kind of spitballed into like getting thrown right into the car community of Grand Forks. Was a bunch of guys that were like, hey, we have these are cool, we build cars and stuff, you should hang out with us. And that kind of just turned into, I bought a 1991 Honda Civic EF hatch, and I put a set of like real OG like PIC coilovers on it, and just did like all the whatever it was, like the 6-speed, or God, was it 6-speed? I can't remember. It was some eBay brand, like strut bars and stuff like that on it. And I just thought it was really cool. I was like, yeah, this car's race car. Yeah. It's like, 30 miles to the gallon, about 100 miles to the quart of oil. Like this thing was sweet, and that kind of spitballed into me and my buddy, Danny Nice. He brought his Skyline down to Pacific Junction. We went down there drifting prior to that, I was the Escort team, the 240 SX that you guys had seen. When I was 17 years old, I pulled that out of a field in Minot, North Dakota. The car hadn't been on the road in about 12 years. Pulled that out of a field with a winch, pulled it up on the trailer. I dropped an SR20 into it originally, and then pulled that out, and I built a 5.3 and put a T56 in it. Just right out of the gate, never even drove the car. I had the car for like 3 years before I ever even got to drive it. I remember I spent my graduation money on it even, instead of like buying a laptop or going to college or doing anything like, I don't know, I guess smart. And I did that and I got it running. And I remember the first event I ever went to with the car, first time I ever drove the car, ever drifted anything, I went down to RPM. And I remember it was crazy as hell. I was down there with Austin Matta and Chance Crooks, who are both Pro-Am and professional drivers now. I remember driving down that track and they were just like, yeah, just follow us. It'll be fine. I remember coming in at third gear, wide open, grabbing fourth and coming in. And I was like, how fast did we do that corner? Like, well, I came in at about 100. I'm like, this is like my 7th run ever. What did we just do? Like, I was just a natural, just picked up. It just felt perfect. And from there, I just kind of screwed around and had to do adult things. I bought my first house and built the 240 at the same time, sold that. I bought my second house, didn't finish the 240, sold that, and now I just recently picked up a C5 Corvette. And that was a whole adventure within itself to get that and bring it home. I'm going to do like a angle kit and handbrake and be a hillbilly and throw a Kirky seat in it and shit. So, car stuff.
I'm glad to hear you're going back to the drifting stuff again. That makes me happy because I loved that car you had before. The peach color was so cool, and it just looked really good. And it makes me happy to hear that you're going back to that. So
there's just some things that you just I would say an itch you can't scratch, but I mean usually a penicillin shot will do that. But this really was one of those ones that I couldn't get.
Yeah,
or that seemed to be the right move no matter what you're doing, apparently. So that'll be good for you.
Yeah, that's kind of the new easy button. And it only hurt a little when Adam's been saying that your 240 is his favorite 240 for like the last 6 years.
So I think that's probably true.
I'm sorry, dude. You got my power steering line off mine. Something lives on, right?
I did appreciate that. And that and it's worked all year. It's given me no problems.
See, and I only ran that thing for like 3 years and like 31 shows later, and it held up just fine.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
That thing seriously has like 31, 32 drift days on it. I put a lot. I went through 3 power steering pumps, never 1 power steering line. So knock on wood, that thing's really good.
Thanks. But yeah, I've gone through everything now. So hopefully that line's finally the last final piece that I don't break.
The day that it does call me up, I will send you a video. I'll go buy I'll buy a Colt 4540 and I will pour it out personally for you for that.
I'll appreciate that.
That shit hurted,
So you hadn't been drifting all that long when we first saw you then, right?
No. When I first met you guys, I don't think the car was black and white. So that would have been the second year I met you guys. Because I remember you guys pitted next to me, and I think it was a white RX-7. I think it was Michael's RX-7.
Yeah, it was Michael's RX-7.
At the time.
Yep.
And that would have been that season I hit it super hard. I think I went to 26 drift days.
Jeez.
That year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I became really good buddies with the guys at Firestone. It got to the point where they put me on a company account, and they would just do the mount and dismount on my tires I would literally walk in there and I'd be like, hey, what do you guys want for lunch? And they'd be like, I don't know, Papa John's. I'd be like, sweet. So I'd order in like 6 Papa John pizzas, send them to them because they were mounting and dismounting about 20 tires at a time for me. So I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, Firestone did a lot for me. Those guys really hooked it up. It was a lot of fun.
So what tires are you running that you can go through that many tires?
I ran a 245 40 18. I ran the Ironmans. Kendas were becoming more and more popular, but I didn't have a Kenda dealer, but I could get Ironmans for like $55 a piece at an account cost. I think I ended up racking up a bill of like, I think it was about $4,800 over that year just on tires alone. So
holy crap, dude.
God.
That's hilarious.
Well, I went to, I mean, God, way to make me feel like a has-been trying to think of this, but
how do you do 26 events? Where'd you go?
I went to so I went up to Winnipeg, Manitoba, up in Canada. I went to Regina, Saskatchewan. I went to Rapid City, South Dakota, Omaha, Nebraska, Brainerd, Minnesota. I went to US Air out in Shawano, Wisconsin. God, I'm blanking right now. But yeah, I went everywhere, and I slept in the extended cab of my pickup and truck stops, and I made it back to work. Like I would take Fridays off. I would leave on Fridays, get there to, at whatever time. I would sleep in the extended cab of my F-350 in truck stop parking lots and stuff with the AC cranked. I remember it was at one point I had to just like drop my dog off with my parents for like, it was like 2 months they had my dog. So I was like, I'm just not going to be home. I'm going to be working on this car. I'm going to be mounting tires, bringing these guys pizza, like getting all this shit done just to take off again in, 3-4 days. No, it put years on me. It for sure. I learned a lot. I met some of the best people I've ever met my whole life doing it. Would I ever do it to that scale ever again? The answer is no, not in a million years. Even though I was 21 when I was doing it. So it was fun because I go and drink in different bars and meet different people and stuff. But man, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of money. And all I got now is, some tagged Facebook photos and, the debt's all paid off. So that's fine. But other than that, it's like, what'd you do it? What'd you do it for? So
were you doing it just because you were loving getting into drifting, or did you have like aspirations to go pro-am?
I truly wanted to go pro-am with it. I wanted to run. This is before MDU collapsed or failed or closure, whatever, RIP. But that was my whole plan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna build myself, learn the car, everything's gonna be perfect. I want to hit pro-am next year hard. Like that was my plan. I had a few sponsors lined up. I had the money behind it to do it. I was so excited. And then it was like August of, what would it have been? August of 2017, I believe it was. They posted on their thing and they're like, thanks for all the help over the years, guys. It's been so great. And I was like, son of a bitch. And they canceled the program. So I was like, all right, just kidding, guys. I won't do any of this. I'm going to do something dumber. I'm going to tear apart my whole perfectly good running car, rebuild the engine, put a Magnuson supercharger on it, and go back out with like 650 horsepower.
I'm so proud of you.
Did that ever run?
Huh?
Yeah.
Did that ever run?
No.
Didn't it? I remember seeing it. I thought I saw it with the supercharger sticking out of the hood.
There was a lot of really nice mocked up photos.
Oh, shit. See, I'm like putting two pictures together.
Yeah. No, long story short, I ran into a foreclosed house that was just down the street from my mom's house. I had some money set aside from a couple incidents that happened. And I was like, okay, I can buy this foreclosed house. I can redo everything. I could either A, make some money on it, or B, live in it. And I went through, redid everything, kitchen, both bathrooms, finished out the hardwood floors. I went through, did everything on this house. And I fell in love with it after putting all this time into it. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going to live here. So there's no profit to be made on this. I just spent all this money. Shit, how's this car going to get done? And that was where that trickled down real quick of being like, okay, I can have a super sweet kitchen and I can pay off all the stainless steel appliances I just bought for this place and this new countertop. Or I can have a drift car that just sits in the garage. So I did the latter of the two. I parted everything out and I paid off the kitchen, did the adult thing. And I don't know. For a motorsports podcast, this is pretty sad, but
that's fine.
That's where I get.
It's reality, man. That's.
I think this is a reality that a lot of us have faced, and I think before we even started, I was talking about like maybe it's just time to send all the stuff I have down the stream and start over fresh, and.
Oh, I'm at that place right now. Very hard.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're done. It just means you're changing.
Yep.
So that's fine.
No, for sure. And that was the big thing was I was like, okay, I parted out a ton of stuff, paid off the house stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. What do I want to do? And I've always wanted a square body crew cab dually on semi wheels. And I was like, that's going to be the baddest shit ever. And then I bought it and I did it. And I bought that thing on Facebook buy and sell, sight unseen, out of Louisville, Kentucky. Talked to the guy on the phone for about an hour, seemed legit, send my money order through my bank. They all were like, are you sure you want to send this? And I was like, yeah, I didn't pick up an extra chromosome before I got here. I'm positive. Let's go. And they sent the money. And it somehow worked out. My transporter picked up the truck, brought it back, loved it. Everything was awesome about it. Everything was really cool until I realized, everything from General Motors, doesn't matter if it's from the 90s or the 80s or whatever, it'll rattle until you hate it. And I hated every last ounce of it. And B, I could not park this thing. I measured it at one point because I have a 25 by 25 garage, and this truck was 24 and a half feet long. I had to pull my hitch out of it to park it all the way at the end of this damn thing. And I couldn't park it. Everything rattled. I had to throw my Milwaukee job site radio in the back of it because it didn't come with speakers. Like, it got to a point where I was like, this thing is just a chore. And I ended up picking up a 13 Chevy Silverado. I got a steal on this thing. I picked it up for $5,000 with 68,000 miles.
Jeez.
It ended up being a lady that died, inherited all of her brother's stuff. She was getting like $4.3 million worth of farmland, didn't care about this pickup at all. And she was a family friend of ours. And she's like, well, how much will you pay? I was like, I don't know. I'll give you like $5,000 because I have that sitting around. Okay, Ben, it's yours. I was like, are you serious? This is like a $18,000 pickup. And she was like, well, you're going to use it, right? And I was like, yeah. So I went from driving like a brand new feeling pickup to hopping into this time capsule of a 1985 pickup. And I was like, oh, I hate everything about this thing. This sucks. So I sold that. And my latest endeavor was the C5 Corvette because I was like, okay, I wasted way too much money turning a Nissan into basically a C5 Corvette. This is dumb. I could have bought a C5 Corvette and saved like $8,000 if I would have done this the first time around.
It's true.
Yeah, Robbie.
So true.
True. Robbie.
Hey, live and learn, right?
My dad, I remember like back when Robbie was first doing the LS thing, and because at the time we were already into the podcast or whatever, and my he's talking to me when he's like, I don't get it, I don't get you guys, because Michael was in the throes of a V8 swap too. He's like, I don't understand why you guys are doing all. Just buy the car with the motor in it.
That car's crap.
There's nothing wrong with a Camaro or a Firebird or a Corvette. Just buy one of those.
It doesn't do the things I want to do.
Corvettes do anything, Robbie.
Well, the Corvette, yeah, but not the Camaro or the Trans Am.
Yeah,
why not? Be fine.
It would not be the time attack car that the 240 is.
No, you could
depends on how much money you want to throw at it.
You see that? Then we just snowball with the higher, more expensive car. You see how this works?
No, but at least you started with the LS.
Nah, it's better. It's better as
you
a
either
240.
throw all the money in the suspension or you throw all the money in the motor. Either way, it's the same amount of money.
That's true. God, that's true.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, how about you quit making logic here?
Yeah.
Okay? We're trying to have fun. Okay, Daddy? God, people.
So what's the plan for your C5?
The plan for the C5 is just do coilovers, knuckle kit, do like a handbrake. I really want something this time around, like the 240SX. I bought it stripped. It was like way too race car. Like I loved it for what it was, 100%. But I want something, and God, this is gonna sound like the most old man thing ever. I just want something really nice with like a sound system and cruise control, and something I can throw my golf clubs in the back of and go to like the country club with and go golf, which I've already done. It does a great job at that.
So you just want a streetable drift
idea
car.
of a Corvette with a hydraulic handbrake in the parking lot of a golf course just makes me so happy.
Yeah, well, brother, I got Crocs too. We get down around here. I hope you know this.
Those Crocs are all over.
Do you golf like 2 months a year or what?
I can get about 4 months a year in. You can get it. It all depends if the frost comes out of the ground or not. If it's going to be all messed up or not. So, no, we can usually get about 4 months in. Courses just finally closed this last week here, just because of temperatures and everything like that. It's about every day we've been averaging about 40 degrees up here.
Oh, fuck that.
That's so cold so fast.
Oh, yeah. I've been
too early, dude.
I'm complaining here, man, and
it was 80 last week.
Yeah, it's here, let me crush your thing. It is 33 right now outside.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
dude. Why do you put yourself through that? It's 61 here.
Oh. Yeah, but then I gotta live in Iowa.
It's a great place to live, man.
There's like Casey's on every corner.
Every corner.
There's Busch Light and Casey's everywhere down here. You'd love it.
You say Busch Light?
That's what I said. This is the Busch Light state. You've seen the
corn cans?
that too.
Yeah.
But
I actually got a fact for you boys that's gonna blow your mind.
Oh no.
This will be good.
So we have a bottle shop in town. It's called Happy Harry's Liquor. And Happy Harry's at their one location in Grand Forks, because of the college and because of the farming and everything around here, this one store sells more cases of Busch Light than anywhere else. And this is for any viewers that are listening right now that go, there's no way that they sell more Busch Light. I'm telling you right now, I can get a 30 rack for about $13.82 right now. You find me one cheaper, I will Venmo you the difference, because you won't find one cheaper. $13.82 is why I can get a 30 rack at this one store, because they sell so much. I ain't got nothing.
That's a lot of beer for
losing
nothing.
his mind
he
right
really
now as we speak. He's so upset. I think it's kind of hard to even find 30 racks here.
That's what I've heard. Okay, the only other thing that blows my mind when I travel is your guys' gas stations have liquor stores built into them, and that's not a thing here.
That wasn't a thing until recently, or at least for us. Like, I remember moving to Ames going, that's a liquor store in this. We didn't have that back home. Northwest Iowa, I mean.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I think our Casey's nowadays, all of them do.
Now do.
Maybe when I was in high school, they probably didn't, but
I know they didn't
nowadays.
And it might have been just because of the county that I grew up in. But yeah, but it was weird to me when I went to Iowa State and there was liquor stores in every store or every gas station.
Not 30 racks. That's not really a thing for us.
I can get a 30-pack of Mountain Dew easy. That's about
Hell
it.
yeah, you can.
Hell yeah, brother. Right?
You can get pony kegs of 1919 root beer.
Where did you get that?
A grocery store in Jackson, Minnesota.
They got a really good racetrack in Jackson.
Yeah, I was up there. It's not too far, or it's pretty close to where my mother-in-law lives.
You got a good automotive school up there.
That's right. That's where you went, isn't it?
That is where I went.
I forgot about that. Yep. Shit. I forgot all about that.
Small world.
Yeah. But we were there grocery shopping, and I'm just walking along, like, bored out of my mind. Like, okay, are we done now? Can we go home? And, like, there in the refrigerator is pony kegs. Like, dude, they had a dozen of them in there, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Awesome. I didn't know they made it. Like, I have a 12-pack in my fridge all the time. It's absurdly expensive, and I really need to stop buying it, but I do it like all the time. I try not to have more than one a day. That's my limit. But I saw this pony keg, and I was like, yep, I don't care what it costs. I'm buying it. It was $25.
Yeah, worth it.
They didn't hassle you at the border? Nothing like that? You could bring that across the lines?
Nah, it's I just had to keep it cold was all. That was the hard part, was getting it home from 3 hours away while keeping it cold, because it said not to let it, or never to let it get warm. So,
yeah, see, that's when it starts to ferment, and that's when you get the issues, because then you'll get a buzz off it. How you got it right now, you're just going to get diabetes. So it's perfect.
That's fine. Bring it on. I ain't scared. Katie has diabetes now. We just found out, so that's fine.
Right.
I know what I got to do.
See, you guys can just shotgun a pump to each other. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, there you go. It's fine.
Or however it works.
So,
all right. So besides drifting, you've done a bunch of other stuff too. It seems like what I found was interesting, and we'll get to dirt stuff because both of us have to learn a lot about that. But you did ice racing, which I knew was a thing up north. But I didn't realize that ice racing was like wheel-to-wheel, slamming into each other, legit racing.
Yeah, so this is actually funny you say it. I'm happy I'm recording in my office right now, because we're going to start this off with the only trophy I got, and my ex-girlfriend got this for me. And it says, for all the viewers that can't see it, it says, 2018 ice racing, you tried. And 2 cars and about $8,000 later, boy, oh boy, did we try and did we learn.
So, that's amazing.
I hate
Holy shit.
I hate ice racing so much.
So is it because people take it dead serious? Or
Oh yeah. So ice racing starts out, we'll go on a little story time here.
Yes.
So ice racing starts out with this super fun idea, just like any racing goes. And you go, okay, we can build a car. If both of us put money in, it'll be cheap, right? And you go to the track and the car drives like shit. And you go, that sucked. I want to win. I want to be competitive. And that's when you pull out your checkbook and you just go, how bad do you want to win? And you just kind of figure out where you want to go from there. So ice racing started out with me and my buddy Cale Mack. I used to pit for him for his sprint car. We decided to buy a Crown Vic. Bought a Crown Vic for $300 off Craigslist. No title, no nothing. Don't care. It's fine. We went through, studded up a set of tires, which sucks. You go to Lowe's and you buy about 200 bolts, and you drill 200 holes in each tire. And then you put your bolts in and you seal it, and you literally take bead sealer and you paint the inside of it. It takes all day. It sucks.
I've heard that it's an insanely huge amount of work.
Yeah, if you can ever find anyone that's dumb enough to sell their studded tires, buy them. I don't care what they're asking, buy them. Because you will never want to put yourself through that headache. That sucks. And I myself have made about 8 of those wheels, and it's awful. I would literally, you drill it out and you're like, this is going to go so, I don't know what this looks like, but this is going to go so great. And you go to put your bolt through it and there is nothing but the cords going through it still. So you end up taking an impact and you just run it right through the thing. It sucks. So besides that totally sucking, we built the car, went out for the test and tune, didn't change anything because there was nothing to change, just kept driving it and putting gas in it and having fun. How our race racing worked was you could have studded fronts, rear-wheel drive cars. You would run your gummies on the back, which were a special tire you had to buy from some place in Wisconsin, and you could run any studded formation up front you wanted to. You could run whatever weight, whatever engine, whatever, suspension, pretty much everything was unlimited besides the tires, which was crazy because we had some guys, we were out there in a stock Crown Vic. We scaled the car. It was about, I think it was right at 3,800 when we did it. We just threw some sandbags in the back of it. There were guys out there that had like 4-door, I don't know, Dodge stuff, but one guy had a 440 in his car, and that thing screamed, and he would burn up tires. He went through 2 tires every race, and it was like, dude, we don't win money. You win free beer at the bar after this. Like, this is crazy. You don't even get that cool trophy. So I went out there with this Crown Vic. I looped the Crown Vic out. I can send you guys the link to the YouTube video because I had it on GoPro.
I watched it.
You were going around a circle track. You would get going on the straights. You get it going about 55. You come into the corners. You'd slow down to about 40. It's the most backwards thing because there's no transponders, so you don't know what lap you did. There is no receivers. So you can't hear the flag man or hear anyone telling you car spun out in 2, yellow, 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 like you would hear in every racing ever. You start out 3 abreast, and that's how your features go. So you start out 3 wide with a pack of about 20 cars or so, and you go out there and there's snow dust everywhere. You can't see anything. It's like driving in a blizzard, and you're just expected to go wide open to this shit with no seatbelts on or helmets or anything. You can actually, there's a rule that you can actually have people in your car drinking. Just the driver can't drink. This is real shit. I can't make this up.
What?
That's amazing.
Oh,
that's so funny.
So I'm not making this up. So
time out here. Hold on.
I was like, no, we can't just go past this. We need to talk about it.
So we have cars racing wheel to wheel, 3 wide on a circle track on ice. No helmets, no cage, drinking in the car. Just to recap.
But not the driver, Robbie.
We want to be safe.
Not the
driver.
We're trying to maintain a level of safety here.
It's like some Missouri laws going on here, man.
Don't mind the next race where we swap the drivers.
I never told you guys this was what you wanted to hear, but this might be episode of the year.
This is exactly what I wanted.
This is what I wanted.
This is perfect.
There's literally no safety rules at all?
No. The only thing that you do to your car is you take like 1-inch angle iron and you weld it across the doors.
Okay.
But you let it overhang so you can still open the driver door and shit. That's the only thing.
That's your door bar?
That's your door bar. Yeah, a little piece of 1-inch angle iron just welded to the side. Yeah, onto sheet metal. Yeah, that was it.
I'm kind of I'm at a loss. I can see them be like, "Hey, we need life jackets," but
yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, there was no safety in it. It didn't matter. Like,
how thick did the ice have to be before they ran this, or did anybody even check?
24 or no, I was gonna say 24 inches is how thick it got overall.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, we get lakes up here that you get. You go up to Lake of the Woods up on the border. You'll be drilling through. You'll go through about 40 inches of ice before you hit water when you're ice fishing.
Wow.
Yeah, you put an extension on your 3-foot auger already. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, no, I think it had to be before we could bring 1 tons and semis onto the ice. We had to be 16 inches of ice before we could go on it.
1 tons and semis.
That is so much ice,
dude. These people go out there in toters and shit. This is a big deal.
Like,
I'm sitting here.
I believe you.
Yeah, I brought my F-350 out there with my trailer, and we had the Crown Vic in the back. Oh yeah, this is a big deal. This happens.
These are the lakes that never get warm. There's ice until July, and then it gets cold again.
There was actually, it's actually really funny to say that. Not ice, but in Fargo. So what Fargo does is they take all their snow that they plow and stuff, and we had a record amount of snow this year.
Yep.
So obviously we sand our streets with sand and salt, like a brine kind of setup, so you get traction. The sand mixes in with the snow, right? So it turns into like a snow sand. The pile, like the original pile where they drive all the semis when they're hauling all the snow away, it was seriously there until like August 4th this year before it finally completely melted. I'm not making that up. It's not like they just took a Zamboni off of a hockey rink and they're dumping the snow in the parking lot. This was real stuff. You can look it up, like KVL Valley News Live or whatever. You can look up Fargo Snow Hill in summer. This is a real thing. I'm pretty sure it lasted until like August 4th or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm cold just thinking about where you live. And I live in Iowa, and I'm complaining about your cold. It's cold. It's cold here. Don't get me wrong, but I need to move to like Nevada.
No, I've looked into it. I've looked into moving, and I remember my brother was making fun of me because he moved to Boise, Idaho, right? And he's like, "Oh man, it's so cold here. It's January." And I was like, "Well, how cold is it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like 44, but it's raining." And it's like negative. Oh God, I think this last year we got to negative 63 with the wind chill. I think we had about a 30-mile-an-hour wind. And it was like negative like 30 something already.
Yep.
It was like negative 63. Like the post office didn't go out. Like kids had to stay home from school and stuff. I'm a parts guy, so apparently I was needed. I was there. You're
essential.
Oh yeah, brother, essential the whole time. So no, back to the ice racing thing though. It's the stuff gets real serious. These guys get real competitive, and what they'll do is, so the Crown Vic gets crashed out. Some of the guys hit me up, and they had a 79 Grand Prix, which for everyone that doesn't know what that is, that's basically a Monte Carlo. That's your G-body GM. These guys already had this thing set up with they put steel plating on the side of it. They weight jacked everything. They would corner scale this because they raced Midwest mods in the summer. So they would put their Ford 9-inch in the back of this thing. They had it corner weighted. They had everything set up on this with different springs. The car weighed like 7,200 pounds when I went over the scales at Cat with it on the trailer. This thing was a hog. It had a 5.3 and a power 2-speed power glide in it. And you would lock this thing in second, and it would 3-wheel around corners. It was set up so bad fast. And what they used instead of what I had was they built, you would get the spares, the emergency spares, so they're really narrow, right? You get motorcycle tires, and you put motorcycle tires on the front, and you run sheet metal screws through it, so they're really, really small. So when it kicks up and you got all that weight on just the front right and the front left is up in the air, this thing would just hook. You would fly around people. This thing was awesome. And then I fought with issues with it dying, with the fueling issue. And finally, I got taken out in one race, crushed the whole back end in, about like a whole foot in. I got hit wide open again. No seatbelt, no helmet, no nothing. My chiropractor makes a lot of money off of me.
I bet.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, no, that was when I retired. It's a whole community. It's like the most like hills have eyes, scary hillbilly community you've ever met in your whole life. Like, we crashed that first car. We went to the bar after. Everyone goes to the bar after. And we had these people come up to us, and they look like, I don't know, like Cajun people, maybe you guys would think of, just some real hillbillies or something. And they come up to us and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing with that car outside?" And I was like, I'm probably going to put it on Facebook, buy and sell the second I get home. You want to sell it? And I was like, it doesn't run. It just got crashed. Yeah, I know. But you already got the spike tires on the front and the good tires on the back. I want to buy it. I was like, sure. And he's like, my skid steer is just down the street. I'll take it right off your trailer for you. And I'm like, oh, sure. Sure, dude. How much you want to give me? $400? Sweet. And sure enough, this asshole, I take my chains and binders off of this thing. He comes by and does choop, whoop, and he was gone. He went down the street. I don't know where this guy went. He took the car somewhere. We got our $400. We left. I have no idea to this day what happened to that car.
That's... I guess that couldn't have worked out any better if you're trying to get rid of it.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
You don't have to trailer at home. So how many races did you do before you were done?
I got about 6 in. I only got 6 races in, And the real kick in the dick was they did double headers too. So I only got
3 weekends
out of all this. That's 2 cars and about $8,000 later. I got literally like 3 weekends out of enjoyment of ice racing. So that's why my girlfriend at the time, Jenna, thought this was like the funniest thing she could ever get me was this trophy.
She's not wrong.
That was my Valentine's Day gift that year. It was bad.
Yeah, that'd be a rough one to take in. That's an expensive 3 weekends.
Yeah. Wouldn't recommend it.
No, I didn't have a lot of interest in ice racing, but I have less now.
Yeah, like I have full ambition of going back this year and making videos and, flying my drone and stuff. I have full ambition of doing that. I have zero ambition of getting in a car and drinking beer with these assholes driving around the track. No thanks.
Yeah, I'm a little sketched out by the complete lack of safety. I am.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah, seriously,
and
none. I will. After this, I'll send you the link to the YouTube video of the. In honor of Busch Light, ours was a Crown Vic that we painted blue, and it was number 30 PK for the 30 pack, which I guess is just a big deal around here. So.
Yes, I was watching your YouTube channel like just before the show, trying to get even more acquainted with you. So I just think your YouTube channel is funny because you got this video of your ice racing endeavor, which is only a couple minutes long, and it's just like you're doing laps, loop it, smash, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. No, I remember that was the funniest part of the video was I was sitting there and we crashed and I knew the GoPro was still going and I was just like, well, I think we're done now.
Yep.
And then, I put in the comment on, I was just like, we have since retired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, no, that one it was not graceful at all. So, yeah, ice racing, don't do it. Go and drink beer, ride with these people, make sure you have a great insurance policy, have a lot of fun. Don't put any of your own money into it. That's the takeaway of this.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm surprised there's not some sort of prizes. Or you got your You Tried trophy, but
no, you get free beer. You get a free beer and a free meal if you win at the bar after. You go to the Deuce in Erskine, Minnesota after, and that's what you get. You get one free drink and you get a free dinner. And the walleye dinner is choice.
I bet it is.
That's
yeah.
about it.
That's an expensive dinner.
In now.
Oh yeah, it's just for bragging rights. There's no kind of money. There's no nothing. There's seriously guys out there with 440s and stuff. There was one guy that had a this was a couple years ago. I never saw it. This was just hearsay. There was one guy, he had a big shoebox Caprice with the 572. Whether this actually happened or not, I don't know. But this was what I was told. This guy had 2 4-barrels on it, and he had a 572 under the hood of his goddamn car.
That's spending real money on this.
That's crazy.
I suppose you can pull the motor out and put it back in your street car that you drive in the summer, and it's not the end of the world, but damn.
Yeah, this was a big deal. These dudes got into it. I don't know why, but it was basically what all these dirt track guys would do in the wintertime as their, off season. I mean, there was one guy, the guy that I bought the car from, they actually had their own private lake. It was part of their land. And they would go out there and they would shave it down with their tractor and stuff. And they would stud the tires on their B mods and their late models. And they would go and run their late models and B mods on the ice. I just can't make this shit up. Happens.
When it snows 9 months out of the year, you got to do something.
No, God. Yeah, you can only go to bingo so many times. That sucks. The meat raffles aren't really worth the shit. So, yeah, you don't.
So then do you do dirt too also then like stock car racing or sprint cars?
Yep.
How'd you get hooked up with that?
I've been doing I've been into the sprint car racing now for 5 years. My good childhood friend, Kale Mack, he got into it because his grandpa, his dad, his uncle, and his two brothers raced. So it's just like a family affair thing. And we got into it. I started pitting for Kale. We started off with a smaller car with a 360 cubic inch engine. I guess I'll say what I did, and then we'll talk about sprint car technology. How about that?
Perfect.
So we did that, ran a 360 car, ran that for a couple years. We flipped that. I mean, Kale flipped that thing like 6 different times. I remember there was one point in time where like I had to skip my girlfriend's birthday because I was like, I got to rebuild this car. It completely trashed itself, and I chose everything from one frame into a new frame.
Jeez.
It was completely trash.
So was it?
Forward,
yeah, was this the end of that relationship, or was she cool?
Oh no, she gone. Yeah, no, she's gone. I think she's in Spokane now.
Jeez. She went far. Yeah, she ran away far.
Yeah, she gone. Yeah. I mean,
you blame her with like with all the ice racing and stuff? Like, yeah, I'd probably run away too. I can't blame her.
Oh yeah, it's probably warmer there. I don't know.
Get some real distance on this.
Yeah, but now instead of being cold for 9 months, it rains 9 months.
Yeah, I guess I'd rather have the snow than the rain, but that's just me. So. Well, why is it we can dig into my ex-girlfriends, but you guys never dig into yours?
Whatever.
I bring it up all the time.
We got to put a T into this right now.
She brought
dig into Robbie's all the time.
I stole this table from her. She's still propping up this podcast.
It's the only real support we got around here.
That's right. This table's more supportive. I mean, we can have that conversation, I guess.
She was not my favorite person.
She wasn't that bad.
Hey, man, it's your life, not mine. I wasn't going to get the name of it.
It happens.
Oh, shit. So
sprint car racing, right?
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. So sprint car racing. So I teamed up with also a childhood friend of mine, Nick Ranton. His brother's been running sprint cars for like 9 years. Nick got into it at his rookie year. He did pretty good. I came into his second year, and we were running a 410 cubic inch engine. These ones are pretty crazy. So how sprint car racing is you have there's 3 main engines that guys will run. There'll be a 305, a 360, and a 410. They're all Chevrolet based engines. They're all Chevrolet firing orders. The complete different thing is it's all custom cast blocks. You'll either have a steel or aluminum block. You'll have aluminum heads. Everything is ran like there's no accessory driver on it. So your fuel pump is actually ran off of a spud on the back of the cam that goes towards the driver. That spud runs your fuel pump and your power steering pump.
Huh.
There's nothing that runs off the crank. The other crazy thing about it is everything is direct drive on these. So you have no transmission. Literally it just is a drive. You have a yoke that comes off the back of the crank that goes to a torque tube that goes to it'd be like a Winters 410 rear end. So you would just have whatever final gear you select with it, and you have either in gear or out of gear with it.
No reverse.
So those get push started then, right?
Yep, everything gets push started. So when you push start it, the car gets pushed. You wait to turn on your. Everything has like a Hillborn injection. It's all methanol injected.
Hell yeah!
The crazier thing is, you run literally like a radiator the size of out of like an EG hatch, like out of like a Honda Civic half size, because everything's methanol. So you run one of those, no fans, no nothing, no shrouding. It's just this tiny, tiny, tiny little radiator up front.
Weird.
So you get push started with them. The wheels break loose. They start spinning. You get to about 65, 70 PSI on your oil pressure. You throw your switch for your spark, and then you're just going. They idle at about 40 miles an hour.
That's so fast.
That's the best.
Oh, it's the dumbest thing. I got to fire and drive one for the first time ever this year. And from driving a lot of different cars and go-karts and stuff, it is the most backwards, dumb thing I've ever drove, and I loved every second of it. So to start off with how dumb they are, they're like your wheelbase on them is 83 inches for all of our non-bald, like bald eagle listeners. That's about 2.1 meters. Our local track that we run at, it's a 0.3 mile track around the top. It's just an oval track. The fastest lap speed that someone has ever put down in a sprint car is a 9.4 seconds around it. That's an average speed of 118 miles per hour. And that's on dirt.
So crazy. I can't believe how fast. I assume it was a 410 car.
410 car. Now, here's where it gets dumber. These cars, like the car that we ran this year, so it made, obviously everything gets measured at the crank because you don't have any way of actually dynoing a sprint car on the wheels because there's really not any dynos that have a starter in it to fire it. Our engine that we had made 965. The car itself weighed 1340 with driver and 28 gallons of fuel.
Oh my God.
Everything is carbon. Everything is aluminum. Everything is titanium on our car. These things don't weigh anything, and they have a better power to weight ratio than Formula One cars right now.
Do you run wing or wingless car?
Winged.
So
you got a for everyone that doesn't know, that's a 4.5 foot by 4.5 foot wing on the top of the car, and it's a 2 foot by 1 foot wing on the front of the car. The other crazy thing that a lot of people don't know is the wing itself actually has a hydraulic slider in it. So the wing itself has, active arrow, if you will. You can slide it forward or backward to tighten or loosen the car when you're out there.
Huh.
I did not know that. The car steering pump. The other stupid thing.
So are they changing that stuff like mid lap, every lap, or is it kind of just like how you feel based on track conditions, and then you just kind of leave it?
It's totally by driver input. So like obviously you guys know the expression, like if you're tight, it's how the front end's coming in. If you're loose, it's how the rear end's going out. The wing itself will do a ton of pitching on it, to either tighten the car or loosen the car. Drivers will go through and they'll change that, intermittently mid lap. It's like if your steering wheel is, let's see here. If you have your steering wheel like this, your pinky finger can adjust that. It's just mounted right off to the side of it. At the same time, the driver is also, ripping tear-offs off, adjusting the wing, and trying to wrangle this car around a dirt track that's bumpy, unsmooth, and going, about 100 miles an hour everywhere.
Like literally drifting the whole time too, basically.
Yeah. And the craziest shit about this was, and it seriously wasn't until I drove one. From everyone I've talked to, the only person that's made this expression was, the cars are spongy. Like, they don't have coilover springs. They just have, everything sits on, torsion bars. So you have a solid axle up front, you have a solid axle in the rear. Everything is held by torsion bars down with just your shocks for rebound. It's totally backwards. It's the oldest, dumbest technology, and these things rip. Seriously. So you run these cars and they're so bouncy. Like you get into the gas, like our tires are crazy. So like for just general knowledge, the right rear on a sprint car tire is anywhere from they're about 16 inches wide. They're about anywhere from 33 to 35 inches tall. If you think of like a mud truck or anything like that, they're pretty dang tall for what they are. The right rear, we'll run 4 PSI in that, and we run active bleeders in them. So you'll take your bleeder, you'll hook it in like an air chuck on a tank. You slide it in the axle, pin it. You can plug it in and dial it in for 4.5 PSI, and it'll bleed off as the tire just gets hot as you're running it. And you do the same thing with the left rear. You run it at about 8.5 pounds on the left rear. Right rear, you run it about 4.5, 5. And you have active bleeders that drop the PSI on the tires to keep them. So everything's super spongy. Everything I've ever drove in my life is you're opposite of the transmission, you're opposite of the center axis of the vehicle. You're on, the left-hand side. Because I'm not a JDM boy, I don't got that right-hand drive because I'm not delivering mail. So you're off to the side, right? So everything makes sense, laterally how the car is going to handle, right?
Yep.
And you sit in a sprint car, and the weirdest thing is how the torsion bars are set up is if you hit the gas and you're going around, a left-hand turn, instead of everything in geometry that makes sense to make it want to go out of the turn, these things, the torsion bars kick and it puts you into the turn. They tilt in with the wing and everything. They tilt in. It feels like you're riding a motorcycle coming into a turn and you stand on the gas and the thing just wants to wheelie. Like it's so dumb. And it gets even dumber to the point of with the Hilborn injection on them, it's just a bunch of linkage rods that go through to your 8 stacks, right? You step down to hit the gas, and because it has just a regular, like a Willwood 1-inch master cylinder for your brakes, you press forward to push your brakes. You step down to hit the gas, and you sit perfectly 90 degrees in the car. You literally stand down on it. It is the most foreign feeling thing you will ever drive. Because I'm like you guys, everything I've ever drove, my feet are straight in front of me. I'm sitting way low. And this thing, it's like you're driving a lawnmower. It's so backwards.
So are you like hugging the steering wheel too then?
Oh yeah, it's like driving a cab over Kenworth. It is right in your lap, and you have like Nick's steering wheel is a 17-inch steering wheel. You have a steering wheel that
17 inches.
Huh?
17 inches?
Yeah, it's like driving a damn boat, dude.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's a 17-inch steering wheel, and the craziest thing about it is complete lock to lock. Is I think it's a little less than a third of a turn. You can seriously go like this and you're lock to lock with the thing.
Oh my gosh.
It is the scariest, dumbest, most backwards racing technology thing ever. And the second you see it or enjoy it or you ever get to the chance to drive one of these things, you will fall in love with it. It is so dumb and it is so awesome. And you'll look at your checkbook and be like, how can I do this? And then you'll be like, just kidding. That's a lot of money. I'm going to buy a Corvette instead. That seems like a way smarter idea.
It is so much fun to watch sprint cars. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure it's out of this world fun to participate in, but those guys really know how to put on a show. It's a lot of fun to watch drivers who are really good at it.
Oh, yeah, it is. And you guys are so close to it, too. You guys have literally the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville, Iowa. And you guys are probably, an hour away from it?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
I was
just there last week.
And I still haven't gone. I need to.
Yeah, I do. I do work there all the time. I'm in and out of Knoxville 2 or 3 times a month, probably.
You will become my hero if you can get me a T-shirt from the Dingus next time you're there.
The Dingus?
There's a tiny...
Dude, if you bail me out again, I will drive to Knoxville just for that. I'm not joking. I will... If I'm in a bind and you were like, hey, by the way, I'll send you this overnight. Yeah, I'll drive to the Dingus.
Because I got Sicky mounts. I got a Sicky oil pan still. I got all kinds of shit still. I didn't sell everything for my car, so...
Will those fit a 350Z or
the pan probably will. Hang on to those. But yeah, no, I mean, sprint cars are like big. Even back where we grew up, everyone knew somebody that was doing it. I just never had a chance to actually get involved because I knew that they would take the sprint cars up to like the elevator and weigh them up there. I always thought that was kind of funny because they'd push it with their 4-wheeler or whatever, and then you get the weights from like where they get the grain weights for.
Yep.
But I knew that they were spending like fuck you money on those engines though.
Yeah, like
like 60 grand comes to mind. I don't know if that's accurate. That's just the number that sticks in my head.
60 grand is what you can build like a turnkey car for. That's like super brand new competitive. My buddy Nick that I work for, him and his brother own their own construction company. They do a lot of like culvert boring and stuff for the railroad. So they're pretty fortunate with their setup, and those dudes work their ass off for it. So they like their engines, like the last one that we ran, I think it was about 38,000 for that one. I mean, it's shit that's inconceivable to me. Like, I would never spend that much, but like, cool, dude, let's go drink some beer and do this. Like, I'm totally in.
I mean, horsepower costs money. I get it. I mean, if you need 950 horsepower, it's going to cost you.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is, I mean, you get like 18 shows out of those engines. They're just basically built to destroy themselves. They run so it's
that was my question. Was like, do you measure those in minutes or,
shows? So you just measure it all in shows. So like like our engines, we're lucky if we get 20 shows out of one of them. They're super volatile for what they are. We run when we go through, we set everything on our valve lash to 0. To get like the most power out of everything. They run a 16-to-1 compression out of, just a regular Chevy, style V8. It's all over overhead, or not overhead cam, but overhead valve. Is it overhead valve? God damn it. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. But no, for what they are and how balanced they are, they're super volatile. But I mean, for the power they make and for, as long as they actually last, they're pretty crazy. It was a whole world of me being a backyard junkyard 5.3 LS guy and just building engines in my garage and being super happy with that, to going and playing with these engines of, how meticulous they are and the maintenance and, cleaning out your injector lines and your direct, the direct injection right into the heads on these things with the methanol. It's like, Jesus, it's crazy. Like, even like you'd have a track where if the track dried out, you would go through and you'd pull back your timing on it because you knew you weren't going to put all the power to the ground. You would go through and you'd change that. You would put smaller injectors into it. And you do this all in a matter of minutes before the car goes right back out onto the track. Like it's a wild thing. It's truly one of a kind thing. And I encourage anyone listening to, if you have the chance to go to a dirt track, to just watch sprint cars or watch, any kind of local racing. Like, I know as much as this channel gets into, a lot of road racing and time attack and stuff like that. I challenge everyone listening to actually go to a dirt track, go and appreciate the machines for what they are. Don't take the crowd for what it is, because there's a lot of hillbillies. I get that. But, just go and enjoy it as a connoisseur of motorsports, not as a hillbilly fest. And I think you'll get some new fans out there.
Oh yeah. It's incredible racing. I mean, I've as I've gotten older and start to appreciate the nuances of all the racing that I'm watching. It's like I can, let's just say 10 years ago, if I would have sat down and someone's like, hey, we're going to watch this NASCAR race, I'm like, I'm going to go do anything else. Now it's just like I sit there and I get like the anxiety of like, even just from iRacing, just doing oval races on there, it gives me enough anxiety to know like this is intense. Like I'm sitting there watching, like I'm into this now. And then same with dirt track. I was like, I was just driving in circles. And then now I'm like starting to understand like, oh my God, this is insane. So yeah, I'm all
close
about
they
it.
get and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's incredible racing.
It's wild.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate it when I was younger. I really didn't. But yeah, now that I've gotten older and can understand it, I'm all for it. So yeah, I want to do more. Like I want to go to Boone and watch the that's not sprint cars, that's stock car stuff on dirt.
Yeah, that's stock cars, hobby stocks, modifieds. I think they do front wheel drive cars there too.
Okay, like a Hornet class.
Yeah, I think that's what most places call them still, is Hornets. I know they've got different names depending on where you're at, but yeah, they're that seems to be more common around here. I think most of the tracks still do cars, with the exception of Knoxville. I don't know that a lot of them do sprint cars around here.
It's actually really hard to find. It's really hard to find a track that'll run sprint cars every week. And, like you were saying earlier in the cast here was about how prevalent like the car scene around here is. It also feeds into the racing as well, because we are the only track in the United States that runs 410 sprint cars and outlaw late models every Friday night. And you will never find that at any other dirt track in the United States. It's always like one or the other, or one's like a special touring series. And I mean, I don't know a lot about late models. Late models, they run these big, wide 16-inch tires all the way around. They run a 950 horse crate engines in these things, or they can run unlimited engines depending on their sanctioning. And these things absolutely scream. Like they are, they look like a goddamn billiard table out there because they're so big and wide. But these things are insane. Late models are so cool, and I don't know a goddamn thing about them.
They are really cool. I used to have a customer at the last place I worked at who sponsored a team, and every time I went to his shop, he had the car in there, and they're so crazy. There's it's a neat thing to see. So I don't know that I've ever seen them actually racing. I think everywhere I've been has been more like hobby stocks or sprint cars, but late models and sprint cars together in the same night. That's racing, man. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, we our nightly lineup. Like I'm not gonna suck their dick too much here on this one, but it's actually really cool. Like we do they do street stocks, which would just be like your Monte Carlo looking street cars with just a bunch of sheet metal on the side. They race B mods. They race the A mods like every other week, and then it's every week it's late models and sprint cars. Like you go there for $15, you get honestly one of the best shows in the country I think you could ever see. Is it because there's nothing to do around here? Shit, probably, but
it makes for great racing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, well, we can't watch hockey anymore. I guess we'll go racing, and that's about. It's either hockey or racing. That's seriously the two dynamics you get.
Yeah, see, we're just far enough south that we don't get hockey.
You guys really not?
Like as soon as you cross the border, no hockey. Like
yeah,
as soon as you cross from Minnesota into Iowa, no hockey. No one does it.
You have it like at a high school level and everything up there. Like, Pardon? Does your high school have a hockey team?
Yeah, we wow,
that's crazy.
Let me bring it back to more washed up shit here. So not even me, my buddy Nick, who I pit for his sprint car. Grand Forks, North Dakota has 50,000 people. East Grand Forks, Minnesota, where I live, it's a town of about 6,000 people. It's just a tiny little farming community. We have like one of the best hockey programs in all of Minnesota. And I mean, like the year I graduated and my buddy Nick went and they won the game. I was drunk in the stands. We won state. And then they did it the next year too. So yeah, it's seriously, it's hockey or racing. That's all we have here.
That's crazy to me. That's even like a high school level. Cause we have I don't know what level pro team they are. They're not the main. Like, but we've got a team here
in Des Moines.
Yeah, but
what is that called?
The Buccaneers.
No,
right?
No,
or is that our football team? Our indoor football team?
Now I'm blanking. It's Barnstormers are football. Buccaneers are hockey.
Pretty sure it's the Buccaneers. Yeah,
because they have their own little arena over by the Lexus dealer.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's not as big here as it is in Minnesota. And
yeah, they're. I mean, God, we keep circling back to it. But God, boys, there's nothing to do here. I can't make this up. There's nothing to do here.
It makes for interesting cars, though. It gives you the opportunity to do it. Because like we've talked about on the show like many times, where I kind of like living in an area that has an off season, so it gives me a chance to completely tear the car down, do something different for the next year, and then So I think that definitely seems to be probably more, even just as prevalent or more prevalent up by you guys, where it's, come October, it's like cars put away.
Oh yeah, no, brother, 100%. Like right now, it's October 14th. I already have the battery pulled out. I already got stable in my Corvette. I've already went through and checked to make sure my antifreeze is good in it, so it doesn't freeze and explode shit this year. No, it's done. We're done. And we've talked about this, and maybe someone can chime in on the group on this. That's from, a southern place or someone that doesn't get winter as bad as us. But like, I have no idea what someone does in Florida. Like eventually one day there's like, oh, it's like 71 out. Maybe let's pull the plug and rebuild this. Like, I don't know what someone does that can drive their car year around. Like, do you have an off season? Do you just decide to randomly tear it apart? Like, is stuff going on constantly? Like, I have no clue.
I could some places where it gets really, really gross hot, like Arizona, they might
do the opposite.
Shut down for like June, July, August, and then roll back into it in September and run through what we would consider the winter because it's not so hot there. Because like nobody wants to be outside when it's 114 degrees real temperature, and then.
I mean, especially if their cool suit is stuck in the back of a Cavalier, too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Sure. It's the worst. So I think that's what some places do. I've heard of like some autocross groups because I can't imagine course working when it's 120 degrees outside. That's got to be miserable.
Oh, and on top of the pavement, too, going hustling cones.
Yeah, that would be the worst. No. So I know I've heard of regions that they'll shut down for a few months in the summer and then fire back up, and they'll run fall, winter, spring, whereas we run spring, summer, fall, and shut down in the winter. So it's just different.
That makes sense, though. I suppose if someone is smart enough or had a big enough pocketbook, I suppose there's essentially at some point in time you could do it year round.
There's certainly road racing events that people go to year round. So Gridlight's trying to make us do that stuff by firing up events at like NOLA and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. Of course they pick great tracks that make it super enticing. Still not going.
Just do it, Robbie. Just do it.
I can't. I'm already looking at my schedule for next year going, how the hell can I keep the 240 and finish the Z?
Whoa, brother. You don't know if there's going to be COVID.
I could 2021.
You never know.
Did I say it last week on the show? I'm predicting that no matter what, the United States isn't going to do shit. Like if
it's not actually over, we're just going to pretend like it is and carry on.
Yeah, but any schedule that's set for 2021 will not change. I'm saying it right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I agree with that 100%. No, everyone's just gonna be like, "Is COVID a thing?" Be like, "Hell no! I got to go see Lee Bryce this weekend." Are you serious? I bought these tickets last year.
Yep, I think right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm convinced that that's what 2021 is going to do. So I'm planning for everything that I expect to do to happen when it's supposed to happen. So NOLA's not on the table this year. That and
I get that.
I want the Z to be done, but there's no effing way I can afford that and do everything I had planned. So we'll see.
Just buy less gravel. You'll be fine. You already said
the gravel's not the problem. Yeah. I was going to say, I think Adam's got a couple more things.
Yeah, we got to talk about it because I think it's the coolest thing in the world. So you have a 3-wheeler.
Yeah.
What exactly is it?
So it's a 1987 Honda ATC 70.
Okay.
The only reason it has any kind of cool importance to me is my dad bought it brand new in 1987.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's even cooler.
Yeah, and it's seriously been in my family ever since. Like me and my two brothers, we all got pictures on it as kids and stuff. So it's always been like, as much as I like want to bastardize it and put like a 140 engine on it and stuff, I just I can't.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
we have a Honda Trail 50 that we've had as long as I can remember. My dad didn't buy it new, but I don't know that I really remember a time where we didn't own it. And yeah, I can totally get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm sure I'll have a picture posted up somewhere in the chat here on one of these.
To your left.
To my left, this one?
Yeah, there you go.
Am I like a weather lady right now? I'm just guessing.
It's over here.
Yeah, so as you'll see, stage left. So this thing sat behind my parents' house under a snowmobile cover for like 9 years. And I pulled it out, cleaned the carburetor and stuff, and I ordered up some Hoosier mini sprint tires for it and Douglas ITP Blue Label wheels for it. And somehow there's a guy online that drills out and does the 3x100 pattern for no good reason whatsoever. These ATC 70s are the only thing that are 3x100. Maybe a smart car is too, but it wouldn't work. Anyways, so I put these tiny little chrome 8-inch wheels on these big fat Hoosier tires on there, and it looks pretty cool. I was pretty happy with it.
It looks so cool, dude. I love it so much. I think it's so rad. I don't know why, but I just think it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's the neatest little pit bike you could ever ask for. I love it so much.
Do you use it as a pit bike or just ripping around the yard?
I've just ripped around the yard with it. My plan is come 2021 is I wanted to use it at local dirt tracks. So when I'm doing filming, I can just go from my they have like a spotter stands that I film from to get all the track stuff. But I still have when I contract with people and I do all the GoPro stuff, I put about 3 GoPros on each car. So I want to ride it all the way back to the other side of the pits instead of riding my bicycle to go and zip off these GoPros and go throw them on the next car for the next heat or the next feature. So I'm not running all over.
Yeah.
So eventually I want to get a pit pass for it to use it as a legit little cool pit bike. Everything at all the tracks we go to is Hoosier. No one runs Goodyear anymore because Goodyear just can't make a dirt tire to save their life. But yeah, so it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's cool.
No, I'm happy you guys get a kick out of it.
I love it. I think it's super rad. So
I appreciate that. Thank you. Between that and my 240 and sorry, Robbie.
Well, sorry to Josh too. He said that this is his favorite pit bike.
Dude, it's the best pit bike.
He's just burning his longtime friends every chance he gets.
Stretched ruckuses are cool and all, but I don't know. There's just something about a 3-wheeler that's just the best.
It's just danger staring you in the eyes. It's just
you're not wrong.
Everything an 8-year-old kid wants. Do I want a handlebar through the spleen? The answer is yes, you do. God bless America. These are only outlawed in 1989. It's fine, okay?
I can't believe they still exist.
There's actually a big issue with that. So there's a lot of aftermarket companies going through and putting like quad rear ends on like 450 dirt bikes and stuff, like 450 dirt bike front ends, and doing like a front like wider fork and stuff.
Yep.
All 3-wheeler sales are outlawed in 1989 for sale in the United States of America. And it wasn't because of rollovers or broken legs or people getting their legs sucked under when it fell out. It's literally from handlebars jamming and going into their spleen or into their intestines and stuff and causing, bleeding. And I'm not a doctor, but whatever else happens when a handlebar goes inside of you, that happens. And they said, this can't happen. We don't have the technology for this technology. So,
I did not know that. I knew they're illegal since for as long as I've been alive, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah, see, you guys learned something. Look at that. You learned ice racing and 3-wheelers and snow and every other backwoods thing I know. It's great.
That was the goal, and we've accomplished that goal.
So real quick, and then I think probably wind this down a little bit, but you're talking about shooting video from stands and GoPros and stuff like that. We should probably tell the people what it is you're doing with that stuff. So give yourself a little bit of a plug here.
A little bit of a plug. So what I started doing is it's called Send Bull'em Speed. It's play on words, came from a drunken night, and I couldn't type my stuff into an Uber correctly, and got Send Bull'em out of that, and it's just kind of stuck ever since. So what I do is I do video features for dirt track racing, and what a lot of guys will do is they'll use it for sponsorship, or like what we would do for Nick's team is we would use it as like a total learning tool. So I would shoot the film right then and there on the car and on the stands. We would go back from our heat race. I'd pull everything up on our computer. We would see where the car was tight, where the car was smooth. And, obviously we can't run, like anything like a, Apex Pro. And
I was actually going to mention that. This might be something Robbie doesn't know about a lot of dirt track racing. A lot of them do not allow any data acquisition systems whatsoever.
You can't even use the geo off of a GoPro. Anything that it'll tell you from your G-forces on a GoPro, you cannot use, but you can use direct film from it. So we would use that when we go and tune our car. So I would do that, and I do that between all these dirt tracks in North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota. Is I just travel and I do film, and it's kind of blowing up, and I just post other kinds of random dumb videos on that channel too. Like I posted a apple pie moonshine video the other day. If you want to learn how to make that for your friends.
I did.
You do have a beautiful kitchen, by the way.
I see, and it was worth getting rid of the drift car. That's where all the money went, and it looks so good. Thank you.
I was watching. I was like, man, look at that backsplash, man. It's a good looking kitchen he's got there.
It's true. I said the same thing. That's funny that neither of us drink alcohol and we both watched that video all the way through. I watched the whole thing.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, all I got out of it was, man, he's got a really nice kitchen, but whatever. Views are views, right?
Oh yeah, God yeah. I mean, as we're winding down here, there is one last thing for anyone that's stuck along this long, and I wanted to say it for, my God, the longest time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
That's right, and that's fuck the fans. Fuck y'all.
You're the first guest to ever say that.
I mean, someone's
actually,
gonna bring back the spirit of Michael here, okay? Fuck the fans.
The spirit of his long-standing joke of not doing the podcast lives on. Actually,
we gotta have him come back and just kidding, guys.
Actually, last week, because I saw he posted a bunch of stuff because of the watch things he was doing. So I saw him on Instagram post like every day, and then you couldn't do a show last week. I almost cold called him.
That would have been super funny.
I almost did it. Just be like, I can't get at him. I actually do have a night that I can do this. I should have. One of these days.
That would have been hilarious.
We'll get him back because I want to know what he's been up to. Because we don't talk all the time anymore, so I don't know what he's up to.
I have every intention of trying to make him come back because in February here, which is a few months down the road, but it's not that far away. We'll be at 5 years on this, Robbie.
Yes, we are.
And I feel like he needs to come back so we can have like a. Just go over all the silly thing because we've done a lot of shit.
No, we really have.
I mean, we went to Vegas, and Grid Life's completely changed the way that we live our lives, and that's
Adam Sabay's fault. He ruined my life.
None of this stuff would have happened if it weren't for the podcast.
It's true, and I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty sure he's doing that vintage race with that Fiat, so he needs to tell us about that.
That was last weekend.
Did he do it?
I have no idea if he did or not, but that was last weekend.
I think he was planning on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All right, so if someone is even closer to him than we are and knows he went, let me know. He's coming on the show, whether he likes it or not.
My biggest thing that I was gonna try to get to do this year was I wanted to go to the 10 tenths PRI dinner or whatever you guys do.
Dude, I was thinking about that today. I'm so bummed about no PRI.
That would have been literally, 2 months from now? Exactly 2 months from now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
First week in December.
that was my big goal for this year. I was just like, all right, A, I'm going to PRI for the first time. B, I want to go with the 1010s. So that was.
Yeah, that would have been perfect because you love PRI. That's right up your alley. And then obviously the best thing about the whole trip is the dinner with us. And that's what everybody looks forward to this year. And
I go and get a Little Caesars pizza with you guys, and we call it.
Fuck yeah!
Fly back out of Indy.
Fuck yeah!
Nothing like getting the PRI flu every year.
Yeah, the PRI flu is a real thing, so definitely shouldn't be a thing this year.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I don't blame them because I was sketched out by it.
Sucks. I'm bummed about it, but I get it.
Yep.
So, there's always next year.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Hopefully, as long as the world doesn't come to an end.
That's how this year ends. Just one giant explosion.
So the lights just fade to black.
Yeah, the sun just dims.
My a little off topic, but
that's the whole show's off topic. That's the point.
No, I know it's off the rails every day. It's awesome. So I put like my neighbor has a big Trump sign in his yard, so I got a Wu-Tang Forever sign in my front yard.
Yep.
And then the guy 3 houses away has a sign that says "Giant Meteor Ended All," and I was like, I should have bought that one because that's way better.
No, the Wu-Tang one's the best because Wu-Tang is forever. Adam has no freaking clue what we're talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I'm not that in the dark. Come on now. Just because I still prefer to listen to Boston and Rush doesn't mean I don't know what's going on in the world.
I mean, I know there wasn't a Wu-Tang 8-track for you to listen to, but I mean,
it's a real disappointment. It's a real disappointment.
Oh shit.
Well, guys, I think it's bedtime.
It's getting there, and this has turned into a pretty long show, so it's been really fun. Honestly,
Ben, I appreciate you coming on. We'll have to have you back on at some point. So this has been a lot of fun. I knew it was going to be, but it has been a lot of fun. So
I try to joke and make everything fun. My boss hates me for it, but yeah, I mean it's great. No, this is awesome. This is something I've wanted to do for so long. So I really appreciate it, guys.
You're absolutely welcome anytime you'd like. So.
Awesome. Yep. I honestly, between the Facebook group and the stuff you guys post, and like I even got signed up on like the Kanga like email and everything. There's a lot of cool stuff, and there's a lot of good information you guys post out there. Besides just an entertaining show, there's a lot of stuff that I would have personally never looked into or anything and learned anything about. And just as a motorsports enthusiast, it has vastly grown my dimension of what I want to see and what I think is really cool. And I personally would never thought of making an autocross car or anything, or a time attack or a chump car or anything like that. But after listening to the show and, being in the group and everything like that, there's a lot of cool racing to be had. There's a lot of cool technology that everyone's playing with. And it's really cool that, even at a grassroots level of, everyone that's in the group, that everyone's still pushing the envelope. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Like going on, like having our group is one of those just things that I never thought I'd have, or like be that it would matter that much to me. So like, it's literally like one of the only reason I have Facebook. It's just the cool stuff that gets posted there, and all the connections we've had from this show. It's opened my eyes to just an incredible amount of racing and like opportunities that I never would have normally had. So it's like even just doing this podcast and doing stuff with you and we could just like I bought that LSD and I sent you a message. I was like, hey, you trust this guy? Yep. Okay, cool. Here's money. Send it to me.
Timmy Hoger. He's never going to listen to the show, but Timmy Hoger, great shit. Trust the guy all day. Did you buy it from him?
I did, yeah. I'm actually planning on swapping that out this weekend.
Nice. There you go.
Yep.
Fire up.
Yep. So hopefully I don't have to do a lot of extra work with getting the shims right, but yeah, it should hopefully it just falls right in and everything works out. But yeah, I gotta verify all the backlash and the shims and whatnot, but it'll be a little bit of work.
That's a lot of work. Just weld it. That's a lot of work, dude.
No. The 240 is nearly welded. We'll stick with that. We'll put a true limited slip in the Z. But yeah, I will let Adam go to bed. I appreciate you coming on, man, and we'll catch everybody else next week.